Bonjour! Welcome back, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. I'm Lucky Samurai, and in this video, I'm obsessed with Les Garçons, partie 2.
But I came to save you. Yay.
If you haven't seen my premiere video, I'd recommend checking it out first because it includes my formal intro and first group of points arguing why defining hero in The Boys is dependent on those receiving Supes' actions. In that video, I made a case for the general public's perception of Supes and the insidious way they're manipulated by Supes' reputation and the media. Here, I'm gonna delve into that idea from our eponymous protagonists and the Supes themselves. So, quick recap. In my last video on The Boys, I ended by talking about the public's perception of Supes from those part of ACDS in Season 1, Episode 6, The Innocents. In this same episode, we finally learn about Butcher's backstory and his beef with the Supes, which is a great transition to our next topic, where we'll look at the way our titular anti-hero protagonists define hero, the Boys. The eponymous boys perceive Supes as corrupt beings who screw people over. I'll start with Huey because we meet him first, then discuss Butcher, and finally the Mallory incident as it ties the boys together pre-Huey.
You meant to come here without Butcher.
Yeah.
C'est incroyable.
Huey's tragic loss of Robin at the hands of A-Train is quite harrowing, especially at its suddenness right near the beginning of the pilot. The way it's handled by Vought and the Supes sends Huey into a confused rage where he just wants some kind of justice for the death of his love.
She just stepped in the middle of the street. You know, I couldn't. Middle of the... She was a half step off the curb now.
One example is the following scene, where a Vought representative wants Huey to sign an NDA about Robin's manslaughter at the hands of A-Train.
But Vought wants to do the right thing. Offer you $45,000 in restitution.
This is a confidentiality agreement.
It's a boilerplate NDA.
I signed this, and
We see what Huey really wants to do.
to have to pretend like it didn't happen, like I wasn't holding Robin's arms in my hands.
Look, I know you're upset, but we're just trying to help.
I don't think.
Then say you're sorry.
Excuse me?
I mean, you people say our condolences and my sympathies and our regrets, but nobody can look me in the eye and say, I'm sorry! I'm not signing anything. Get out. I said, get the hell out!
But what he ends up doing instead.
As I said, boilerplate NDA, really pretty standard stuff.
Can I think about it?
Through Huey, we get to experience the first-hand injustice of the Supes on a member of the general public. Huey's rage feels justified because of the grossly significant loss of a loved one, and the way A-Train and Vought react to that pushes Huey over the edge to demand justice.
Can't file a criminal case against A-Train. Supes are like cops. They can't be charged for damages while they're on the job.
Okay.
But maybe we can file a wrongful death. I just gotta get Robin's parents to sign off on it.
Huey,
Even Huey's father wants him to let it go.
good for you. You want to make this right. What happened to Robin? But you can't. So sign this.
Dad, they killed
Look,
her.
be realistic.
Not this.
You can't do this.
Why not, Dad?
You don't have the fight. You never have. Neither do I.
This moment for the usually meek Huey is pivotal in leading him to agree with Butcher and eventually join his quest for vengeance.
But you did this for what? Why not? Why? Why not? Why though?
By the time Butcher takes Huey to the ACDS meeting, Butcher tells him,
You know that feeling you get when you took your chair back too far? When you catch yourself just before you fall?
Yeah.
You used to look like that all day long. Now look at you. Cool as a cucumber.
In this same episode, we learn about Butcher's beef with Supes. In typical Butcher fashion, he bluntly interrupts the meeting,
You're a bunch of pathetic soup worshipping.
berating the victims in an attempt to show how they should be feeling according to him, and criticizing their acceptance of the Supes' actions. And in his opinion,
Where's your rage? Your self-respect?
Later, Butcher explains how Homelander messed with him personally.
Homelander. Not long after that, she came and sat right here. I know this because she got tagged in that security camera right there. She sat here for 3 hours. And then she just got up and walked away. That was 8 years ago. And nobody's seen her since.
Once Butcher's story is finally revealed, his intent and dedication to bringing down the Supes finally has a concrete reason behind it. He and the boys don't view the Supes as mere heroes, but vessels for Vought to try and slowly overtake the military and seize complete control. But it wasn't just the Butcher and Huey affected by the Supes.
Oh. Never has a man thrown his life away so completely like you thrown yours away today.
Throughout the runtime of The Boys, the name Mallory keeps popping up.
And that Mallory ain't gonna happen this time, I swear to God. There's water under the bridge.
You tell that to Mallory's grandkids. Tell them it's water under the bridge. That wasn't my fault, huh? Who is Mallory?
All right, look.
Mallory is the FBI agent who had spearheaded the boys' previous mission that ended in the tragic death of her grandchildren. Throughout the show, we see the boys arguing about the way they worked in the past during their time with Mallory, which is still a point of contention amongst them as they attempt to work together again.
We need each other. We need each other. We're in the water. Now you guys can beat the living out of each other. I really don't care. It ain't gonna change the past.
Jesus, he gives the worst pep talks. He really does.
The events that led to Lamplighter murdering Mallory's grandchildren is a big reason why the boys seem so dysfunctional but competent at the same time. They do not want a repeat of those events, and they know what an arduous journey it is to demand justice from the Supes. The boys know how ruthless they are and how damn near impossible it is to hold them accountable for any of their actions.
You made it suicide to go after the Supes.
Besides, how could anyone think of a Supe as anything but heroic? This leads me to my final topic, the point of view of the Supes. Here, I'll discuss Annie's perspective on Supes, then the rest of the 7, and then Homelander specifically. Overall, most Supes see themselves as elite and better than the average human. Annie January, aka Starlight, is a typical small-town girl with big dreams. Her audition for the 7 is extremely telling of her hopeful and innocent, if not naive, nature.
I was born super abled. My mom was thrilled. She took me to all the little Miss Hero pageants, but I hated it. At the Q&A, they always asked me what my wish was. And I always said to save the world.
Juxtaposed by her immense strength and blinding powers.
You should turn away from the camera and you should close your eyes or else I'll blind you. I'm so sorry. Are you alright?
Annie is another character similar to Huey, who we get to experience from the start and follow her journey. After getting into the 7, she's by her former hero, the Deep, and slowly realizes that she doesn't get to save as many people as she did when she was in Iowa. Her perspective on being a Supe in the 7 changes, especially when she learns from Huey the true nature of her powers.
It's this drug. It gives the Supes their powers. Vought will do anything to cover it up.
No, what are you talking about? We're born like this.
I'm so sorry.
Annie realizes how superficial Vought is, where even her heartfelt speech,
I believe in God, I love God so much, but
Honestly, it's just how goddamn certain everyone is around here. How do they know? How does anybody know? Harriet! What's immoral is the guy who shoved his dick in my face.
was turned into a promo trailer.
Watch her stand up and fight back for all of us. Citizen Starlight, coming this fall from Vought.
The house always wins.
The rest of the 7 are no saints either, as right off the bat, when Starlight joins them for their first meeting, they start squabbling over money. The way the rest of the 7 act is mad superficial and just playing it up to the cameras when in reality they know how they really are.
Copyright infringement is costing Vought $1.2 billion per year. That's money out of our pockets. We've all got, what, 4 points each?
The f? You got 4 points?
That's so upsetting.
I ran so fast in this bitch that I swallowed one of her molars. Like a bug on the freeway. Dude, that's nasty. You're laughing. Like she's a joke.
But the thing about a joke. No, but you didn't say JK though. But
Do
you
I have
gotta
to say it,
understand.
girl, honey? It's a joke.
Yeah, let's just cut. I'm sorry.
Scene take 2, Alpha Mark.
Starlight, I hope you can forgive me.
It's harder to saw.
To sell it, yeah?
It's a little hard.
Perfect, let's do that. Speaking out, we can all become stronger by listening. Okay.
I've had it.
And I'm so,
you know what I've had?
It.
These clips are just the tip of the iceberg of the scumbaggery the Supes exude. They clearly see themselves as superior to the general public and even question their superiors. Which all culminates in Homelander, the scariest one of them all, so far. A Superman/Captain America hybrid gone completely bonkers. Drunk off absolute power and high on corruption, the perfect combo to cross with, Homelander is the leader of the 7 and seems to have absolutely no authentic care for the lives of the general public, the people he's supposedly working for. From the way he callously and easily decides not to save the plane once he had done messed up the controls, to the way he tells Maeve that they're better than everyone, Homelander is frightening. He's an example of how absolute power corrupts, which is so scary because he actually has the superpowers and invincibility to back it up. The way he perceives himself and the Supes is megalomaniac. Basically, Homelander is the epitome of Supes equating themselves to gods, and that is not it at all. Obviously, I could go on and talk about other Supes in the show, but for the most part they see themselves in a similar fashion. Absolute power corrupts, absolutely.
Ocean, like someone said, power tends to corrupt and absolute power, corrupts, absolutely, that is...
Ultimately, in my humble opinion, The Boys is a show that seems to hold a mirror up to modern society and showcase it in the light of an extreme through corrupt superheroes. But no worries, it's not like anything even remotely similar is happening like that anywhere in the world right this moment.
Section 409 of the Penal Code. Black Lives Matter!
In the death of Breonna Taylor, the black woman killed in her home as police served a no-knock warrant. Louisville authorities moving to fire one of the officers involved. ABC's Zachary Quiche has more.
Say her name!
Her name and her story have become synonymous with the moment and the movement for justice. This morning, almost 3 months after Breonna Taylor was shot and killed by police as she laid in bed, one of the 3 officers involved in the shooting has been fired.
Chief Schroeder is today initiating termination procedures against Louisville Metro Police Officer.
I really do like dark humor and satire, and The Boys is done in a way that is super entertaining and informative, and unfortunately, extremely relevant and relatable in today's social climate. The way they portray what makes a hero by showing different points of view is a great way to open up discussion on the banality of right versus wrong and where we fall on the spectrum. How much is based on one job and how much is a result of systemic corruption. And when I say extremely relevant, I mean scarily so. At the end of the day, being a Supe in the boys' universe is a job like any other. There are rules to follow whilst on the job, and places to go to indulge in sins after hours, very much like the way jobs are in our society. They all have private lives as well as adhering to their work code of conduct, where some are better compensated and protected than others, highlighting the inequality of the system.
Since when did hopeful and naive become the same thing? I mean, why would you get into this business if not to save the world? That's all I have ever wanted.
Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. Thanks for bearing with me as I continue to learn and figure out what I like and how I'm structuring these videos. So check out Hollow Dog on SoundCloud, my music plug. Thanks again if you made it to the end here. Comment your thoughts and questions, and I'll see you on here soon, hopefully. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye!